Howdy, howdy. Let's see if I have enough bandwidth to actually produce a decent video today. Welcome to all of those joining. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. I don't really have an agenda or a list of topics I want to talk about today. I really just got back into the shop, kind of getting my feet wet after being gone for a month, and wanted to give you an idea of the projects that are going on, talk about kind of what I plan and expect to do in the future coming up, but also maybe cover a little bit of stuff from my hunting trip. We'll call this a random Monday evening rambling, if you will. So spent a month, almost a month out of state, did some hunting, did some guiding for some customers for a couple of elk hunts. And I'm just now getting back, and I have about 1.5 million emails to catch up on and a bunch of voicemails. The area I was at didn't have great cell service for the majority of the time I was gone, and so I didn't get a lot of voicemails until I got back into cell service, and so I have a whole pile of voicemails to go through. But opened the shop this morning and have a metric crap ton of phone calls already. Apparently, people are aware that I'm back at work, and so I have a lot of stuff to have conversations about. Have a couple projects that are supposed to be in by the end of the day today. It is currently 3:41 Central Time. And so I have a couple of customers who usually drop stuff off on their way home from work. And we'll get those taken care of. But what I want to talk about is a video that I'm working on. I did a video months and months, probably a year ago now that I think about it, on the Pieta. It's the Colt Single Action Army clone. That video has had a lot of requests for additional content on it. All of the comments in that video are pretty strongly in support of doing a trigger job. I'm trying to think of all the comments that I've seen on that one. Modifications. There are several models of the Pieta guns, EMF guns out there, and parts interchangeability, cap and ball versus what we're looking at here. And so I am working on content for a follow-up video. I think what I'd like to do is probably a 2-part video. I haven't made up my mind yet. ChatGPT and I were talking about it earlier and kind of discussing what that looks like. Do a longer form video, 30 to 45 minutes, or to do 2 shorter form videos to cover kind of the internals of it, what the inside of one of these looks like, and then also how to do a trigger job. That's like the most requested comment on that earlier video. So look for that in the future. If you have a suggestion, I'd drop it in the comment section or over in the chat section. I'm always happy to kind of follow along. I've worked on quite a few of these now. I actually have some content that I filmed a couple of months ago about doing like a basic cleaning. What I would do if I bought one of these, the first thing I'd do is if I took it out of the box. And that content that video or a couple of videos never really spoke to me. And so it never even made it into editing. So I have plenty of B-roll footage, I should say, to do that video. But I think ultimately I would like to do either a longer form, 30 minutes to an hour, somewhere in that time frame video on a complete teardown, the trigger job, the what to look for, and then probably a suggestion of when you should bring it to somebody like me. Also working on a couple of customer projects. I have some video filmed for a lot of it before I left. I tried to get the majority of the jobs that were here when I was getting ready to leave done and out of the shop. And so the majority of that stuff is filmed and the guns are already gone. So I can't do any follow-up content without getting them back from the customer. But I have a couple of projects. There is an Italian copy of a Sharps rifle. I don't know if that content has been edited yet. I have a bunch of stuff all over the place that needs to be edited or needs more filming done or needs image generation for a thumbnail, that kind of stuff. I have some content that I produced before I left, and ultimately I just never got it out before I got out the door. Let's see. I would say I probably have 5 or 6 videos and I struggle to post these videos because some of them are going to get demonetized. Fact of the matter, YouTube has gotten so specific with banning disassembly and modification. It's hard for me to create content to post here that you can watch, but is also, and I hate to say this out loud, worth my time. Honestly, that's what it boils down to. I get paid to work on firearms. I don't necessarily get paid to film myself working on firearms. And so some of the videos that I have done very well, and they are still monetized. And so I see some ad revenue from them, and some of them immediately get demonetized and they're not eligible for monetization in the future. And so the money that I earned from this job when I did this particular firearm modification is that there's a cap to that. And so I'm trying to find a balance between giving y'all quality content, things that you want to watch, that also are still worth my time financially. I don't like doing Patreon or the paid subscriptions. I'm a huge consumer of YouTube content, and I don't like paying to watch something that was free a month ago or something that I can watch for free somewhere else. And so I hate having to direct people towards like a Patreon. I think I even created one, but I think it's gone dormant long enough that it's not even valid anymore. I would much rather give you free content here on YouTube and receive a little monetization from ads than I would have you pay a monthly subscription. I think it's just a better use of your money. I'm going to do the work anyways. If I can get it filmed and get it here, I'd rather you watch it here than have to go to Patreon or somewhere else like that. So I'll quit rambling down that road. But if you like a longer format video, let me know. If you prefer the shorter format, I've done some that are 10, 15 minutes and they do well. And then some of the other short ones do absolutely crap. I don't know if the algorithm hates me or hates the channel, or if I just make bad videos. I don't really know. But if you have some feedback, longer format, shorter format, whatever you prefer, let me know in the comment section. I'm trying to, the channel has plateaued as far as growth goes, and that's perfectly okay with me. Some of the content that I put out is strictly for educational purposes. I do jobs day in, day out that it's going to benefit somebody else down the road. 10 years from now, they're going to find a YouTube video on how to disassemble single action army or whatever the case may be. Those projects I like to film and really don't care if they're monetized. But then I have projects like the Mauser shotgun conversion. I had a kind of a primer video and then a video doing some of the work on it. And they really don't pick up any traction. They get like 200 views and then they're dead flat. And so for me, that gun is not a paying job. It's not a huge priority for me. I have a whole shop full of stuff that I get paid to work on. And so I'm not going to continue making videos on it if it doesn't continue to hold interest, if that makes sense. Yeah. So like I said, I'll get off that soapbox. Trying to make a better quality video for y'all. And mix in some live streams, some shorts, because everybody finds the channel in a different way, and kind of keep it moving along, if you will. Growth isn't my primary goal. My primary goal is to create quality content. I have a couple of channels that I really enjoyed watching that I strictly watch because they're entertaining, and I'd love to have a channel that's that way and also helps people. Like I said, I'm not a big Patreon proponent. I'm not a proponent of having you pay to watch what you're going to find for free somewhere else. So Pieta video, we're going to do a trigger job for sure. I haven't decided yet what else is going to go into that. Did a little bit of filming while I was out of state hunting. So I don't know if any of that will make it to YouTube. Dispatching animal, blood, guts, and gore, that stuff doesn't necessarily do very well. Definitely gets demonetized. We'll just call it what it is. And gets almost no views, unfortunately. Oh, so cool thing where I was hunting and assisting and guiding, if you will. There, I had a really long conversation with ChatGPT earlier about this subject matter because I didn't want to say something on YouTube, one that gets all of us in trouble, but two, that's incorrect. I like to know factual information. So the place where I hunted recently happens to be private property. And then obviously, as if I'm there guiding and assisting an outfitter, I have permission to be there. And then I also have express permission from the landowner. There are several First Nation or Native American historical home sites and dwellings on the property. It's a huge chunk of property. Out of respect for the landowner, I didn't film any video there. I do have some photos, and so I want to do a video in the future. Let me message this customer right quick. 1 second. I want to do some videos in the future about that. It's super cool, very fascinating to me. I've always been an outdoors kind of person, but also the historical aspect of it, to find an artifact, something that somebody touched 1,000, 2,000 years ago. Very fascinating to me. And so we'll dive into it. I did a lot of hunting and a lot of walking in that hunting. And in that process, I did find a few, well, that's not going to work because it's the same color as I am. But did find a few artifacts. And so I've got a pile of that stuff. I want to do a video and kind of talk about the lay of the land, if you will, the topography. I did a bunch of reading. No cell service, but I did bring a bunch of books, and I did a bunch of reading about the inhabitants of that area and kind of their day-to-day life. And I want to do a kind of a side quest video, if you will, on First Nation, Native American stuff from that area. Super cool. I'm always fascinated by stuff and things like a piece of basalt that was used as what was probably an axe or a hammerhead. Very, very cool to find that stuff, but also I have a deep appreciation for the historical significance of it. We'll probably do a video in the future about some of that. If you didn't know, I'm a man who collects hobbies. And one of those hobbies has been, since I was a very young child, rocks. Ties right into this whole artifact thing. But I'm a huge rock collector. I don't know if the kids and I have done anything for the channel about it. I know I haven't had my kids on the channel often, or at all, some of them. But I've been a rock collector since I was a kid. My mom hates it. I still am in my late 30s and still come home with a pocket full of rocks sometimes. But while hunting, one of my customers was making fun of me because I'm always looking at my feet. I'll show you. Because I picked up, in the matter of about 2 weeks, I picked up an entire bag full of red jasper and some agates and some chalcedony or chalcedony, however you want to pronounce it, petrified wood. Picked up a bunch of that stuff. Some pretty cool pieces that are very translucent. And so thought about doing a video, have the kids hang out with me. We'll slice some of this stuff up on the rock saw and then maybe polish some of it, put it in the tumbler and polish it. I get it. It's a gun channel. You're probably not here for rocks, but again, this is Random Monday. So giant bag full of rocks. If anybody wants an agate, I happen to have a bag full and can point you in the right direction. So while gone, like I said, did a bunch of hunting, did some guiding, and a metric crap ton of reading. So I'm working on a project about a video specifically, but also a post for my website, a blog post for my website about reading material. We talked about it briefly before I left. I'm going to give you a recommended reading list. And then my goal is to provide to you a resource for where you can get some of those items. So we talked about archive.org, which is a great resource if you want to read books that are in the public domain for free. But there are other resources like Project Gutenberg, things of that nature, where you can find reading material, gun-specific reading material for free, or on a like ebooks that you can borrow. You have to create an account, sign in, and then borrow them to read them for a time period. So I'm going to give you a recommended reading list, and then we're going to cover some of the stuff that I have read multiple times. Did a live stream with a good buddy of mine, Jeremy, and we talked about what we're reading currently. I'm always a proponent of reading. If you're not reading something, then you're probably glued to one of these, and that's brain rot. But I read 6 different Louis L'Amour books while I was gone. I have read, I'm pretty sure at this point, everything Louis L'Amour has written: short stories, longer stories, condensed novels, things of that nature. I've read everything that he's written, probably other than a grocery list. And so I reread a few of those. They're easy reads. You can sit down in an afternoon on the side of the mountain waiting for elk to start moving again and read several chapters. So I read 6 of those. I read a book by a YouTuber that I enjoy watching. And we'll talk about it. Billy Moles is the guy's name. There's no reason to not discuss it now that I think about it. I'll drop a link down below to his channel in the description. Have always enjoyed watching his YouTube videos. He's a professional hunting guide in Alaska, has been doing it for a long time, and produces some really good content hunting related. But I read his book. I actually found a signed copy of it at an online bookseller that I use all the time, and so I bought that and I read it. It's a pretty good read. I read a book by Mr. Eastman on judging pronghorn antelope and how to hunt pronghorn antelope. I read a couple of Westerns. I read a bunch of my Bible. I should have prefaced with that. I apologize, Jeremy. But I read a bunch of my Bible while I was there. And then I also read, kind of grazed over a copy of The Deer Rifle. There's a movie, I'm pretty sure, that's titled, no, that's The Deer Hunter. So The Deer Rifle, is that De Niro? The Deer Rifle is a book about, I still have it. Hold on, I'll grab it. By L.R. Wallach. It's about how we arrived at the rifles that we use today. It's about what goes into making an accurate deer rifle, the things that it talks about Townsend Whalen, a couple things like that. So I have read this before, so I grazed through it again one afternoon while having coffee, waiting for hunters to wake up from their nap. What else do I want to ramble about? I have a couple projects coming in. I have a customer who's bringing me a Bergara rifle to do a barrel swap on, and I'll probably do a short video on that. There's a lot of information about doing pre-fit barrel blanks, but he's going from a steel barrel to a carbon barrel. There's some special considerations there, so I'll do a quick video on that when it comes in, if I remember to film it. I have an AK project that's coming in. It's an older Wasser gun, and it needs some parts removed. It's sat around for a while. Pins are stuck. If you're an AK guy, you understand the extractor pin is always a pain. But have a little project to do with that one. Customer's supposed to bring me in the next couple of days. A couple of revolvers that we're going to switch pinned front sights on. So I'll do a quick video on like special considerations, things that you need to keep in mind. And then I need to do a bunch of cleaning around the shop. I have some European mounts that need to get done. It is also less than a week away from the Texas, where I am in Texas, my county's rifle season for whitetail opening. And so I'm getting ready for that. Need to get the 6.5 PRC tuned up and clean the 300 Win Mag after this month. And so we'll get those cleaned. I want to talk about some cleaning considerations because that one is always a popular subject. Things that I do. I think I've seen several comments about that now that I think about it in videos. People want to know if I go hunting for an afternoon and it's drizzling, what do I do before I put my rifle away to prevent having to come see a guy like me? And so I want to do a little quick video about that. There was something else, and I should have made a list because it just ran out of the back of my mind. But that is the long and the short of it. It would appear that nobody really wants to hang out, or I have a terrible connection and the video quality is crap. So I am going to leave it there, 20-ish minutes, unless anybody has any questions. If not, then I will jump off of here. Like I said, I have a bunch of content filmed that needs to be edited, so look for a couple of videos in the next week or two. And then I have some ideas. Oh, that's what it was. I wanted to ask your opinion for content. I like to make videos about things I'm passionate about, but I understand that not everybody gives a crap about a giant bag of rocks. And so I want to make content that appeases the masses or appeals to the masses. And if you have something specifically that you're struggling with, a project, and you need a video about it, or if you have a project that you need to send to me so I can make a video for you about it, reach out to me. HuntsvilleGuns.com. There's a contact button at the top, and that should send me a direct email. I think I've answered all of them recently. There may be one or two that I didn't get while I was gone because I didn't have service. But if you emailed me a request and I haven't responded, email me again. Send me a message through that contact button. What else? Yeah, if you have an idea for a video, you want to see the Cerakote process, you want to see how to set something up in a mill, or whatever the case may be, drop it in the comment section. I try to read and respond to all the comments. Sometimes it's just a thumbs up, but I try to read and respond to all of the comments. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to get out of here. I have a couple of projects I need to finish before customers drop off guns for the afternoon, and then it's my night to make dinner. Beef tips and rice, in case you're wondering. But I'm out of here. Thank y'all for hanging out. Be good.